What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching Keep Calm and Game On. In this episode, we're playing some more Darkest Depths, and we're just streaming this. In this particular stream, we're kind of just gonna play the game, like we usually do, but we're gonna just take our time and look at all the different textures, try to think of new ideas for the game and the developer, because this is a one-man team, and he says he loves the feedback from the fans and the community. So I'm just gonna throw out a bunch of ideas, just snowballing ideas. Half of these will probably not make it into the game, but I'm gonna just throw out things that I think would be cool if they were added. Other people might think they would be terrible, but I think they'd be cool. So that's what we're gonna kind of do during this this playthrough. So just different ideas as to what would make this game better, in my opinion. I didn't really make notes or anything. We're just gonna kind of play as we go and come up with things on the fly. But the first thing I would love is, I've kind of looked at these torches, and this is like just nitpicking here, but these torches look really cool. All right, these are pretty cool, but they're super teeny, like they're really small. I would, and like these rooms are kind of really tall and very big, so I would just like the torches to be maybe a little bit bigger, like just giant torches on like at the beginning of like doors and stuff. These doors, I love the way the doors look and the textures. By the way, I am playing this on medium like settings, so this game does look a little bit better, but because I'm streaming at the same time, I had to like bump down some settings. But I do like the textures. The fire effects look pretty cool too. And speaking of fire effects, I would love to see more kind of room elements that will try to kill you. Some more hazards, I guess you could say. Because I've seen a lot of the fire things, and then there's a little bit of like gaps and stuff where there's like poison. I think poison and lava would be cool to like have just like floors, just random holes in the ground that you could fall down and fall into like a pit of lava, or spikes at the bottom. Just more elements that can kill you aside from the enemies like shooting you and stuff. Just like if the dungeon is trying to kill you as well as the enemies, I think that would be kind of cool. So yeah, we're just kind of looking through here, looking at the different things. This is a pretty well laid out room, and this game is like randomly, I don't know if it's procedurally generated, it might be randomly generated, I'm not sure, but this is a pretty cool looking room, I think. So let's go to the next one here. I think we've already killed all the bad guys in here. This is a pretty good one too. But like I said, like a lot of the rooms are very tall. They're very tall looking, and you can wall run on the walls, which is fun. But most of the enemies, they're just on the ground. And I have seen some gameplay of like flying type enemies as well. I haven't came across any, so I did kind of recommend some flying type enemies, some aerial combat type stuff going on. I did recommend that in the Discord, but I haven't seen any during this playthrough or any of my other playthroughs. But yeah, definitely flying type enemies could add a lot to the game, because a lot of the levels, like I said, they have very tall ceilings. So just maybe like adding torches and stuff to the walls, just to kind of break things up a little bit and kind of vary the level design. And I'm sure all this stuff is planned, but just throwing that out there. Okay, so we went through this room, we cleared that out. Let's go through here. I like pots too. I love coming across these pots. Put more pots in the game. That's I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna grab these. Grab those. I like these little obelisk things as well. I think those are pretty dope, and they have a little bit of lighting. And speaking of lighting, I would love to come across rooms that are just like darker, just have really low lights, and perhaps, I'm just throwing this out here, but adding like a flashlight mechanic or some kind of attachment that you can put on your gun, or some button that you can press that would kind of illuminate what's in front of you, and then stuff behind you would be much darker, and you kind of have to point your cursor. And I think that would kind of add some horror type elements to the game. Maybe not like jump scares or anything, but I think it'd just be really cool to just navigate levels kind of in the dark, just using your flashlight. And it doesn't have to be like pitch black, definitely be able to notice a difference, because then it would really help illuminate these. And I know there are like different filters and stuff you can put over the game when you start, but that just kind of changes the whole dungeon. And I would just love to see like certain rooms be darker than others, you know what I'm saying? So that's just another idea, because I think it would really make these lights and whatnot, especially the torches and stuff, that would really make things pop. Also, I really want to see these weapon spawns, these little tower things, these little green things. I would love to see them have to take more hit points to kill. Because at the beginning, they're, I guess, a little bit more difficult, but as you progress, they're, like, super easy to, like, take out, like, in a couple shots. It feels like, with certain guns, you take them out. And it just, it feels a little too easy. I want each room to just be a little bit more difficult. And here's another thing with, like, the verticality. Like, you see these giant ceilings with big walls, but then there's, like, nothing on them. I would love to see, like, gun turrets up on here that are, like, trying to shoot you, and you'd be able to, like, you know, take them out. Or maybe just alcoves, you know, just holes in the wall where there's, like, enemies up there just, like, just throwing projectiles at you. I think that would be cool. Maybe some lasers. You know, you'd come across these big rooms, and there'd be, like, lasers going across, and you'd kind of have to, like, navigate. Or just, like, blades in the wall. You know, different things. Or even, like, you know, pits coming across here, so you'd kind of have to do some platforming, jump across, you know, dash, and then, you know, have different spikes, as well as just more barriers and stuff on the ground that you have to, like, jump over. You know, just stuff you'd have to kind of climb over, and they can kind of hide behind to shoot enemies. So that's just another idea I'm throwing out there. I really like these enemies here, because I don't think they can, I guess they can hit you, but I would love to see, like, more enemies like this that just charge you, not necessarily run at you and shoot stuff, but just purely charge you and then, like, maybe explode on impact or something. I would love to see that, you know, just like small groups of maybe weaker enemies, but they're, like, more aggressive, and, you know, just because they're weaker, the fact that they have more numbers would make them, you know, just as annoying and hard to kill. So I'd love to see something like that. Let me just, okay, I gotta take out that weapon spawn on the other side here, so let me go run around there and do that. Or else these guys are gonna keep spawning. I do think the enemy AI is pretty good, though. Like, there's been a lot of occasions where I just kind of clear out the room and leave, like, one or two guys, and I just kind of watch their behavior, and it's pretty good. Like, they track onto you, they'll throw their projectiles at you, and it's, all in all, it's pretty good AI. Okay, so we killed that. Take out that. I do like the way the enemies look as well. They're pretty well animated. I did recommend, like, maybe adding some flinch effects. So, like, when you shoot them, they kind of, like, you know, stagger and flinch a little bit. Because I think when it comes to first-person shooters, the shooting feels, like, weighty and kind of and really good when the enemies actually stagger back and kind of, like, you know, flinch as you shoot them. It feels like you're actually doing a lot of damage. Whereas if you're just shooting an enemy and then it just, you know, disappears or whatever, it doesn't feel as good. It feels more like, you know, bullet spongy. But when they actually, like, they're flinching and kind of, you know, getting knocked back a little bit as you shoot them, then it feels like you're having an effect. You know what I'm saying? So I did put that in the Discord. I kind of recommended that feature because I think that would add a lot. Because when it comes to first-person shooters, you want the gunplay to feel good, and the gunplay does feel good in this, but just adding that flinch effect on enemies, I think would just make it feel, you know, just that much better. I think there's probably another tower down here or something that's spawning these enemies. I'm not sure. There's something spawning these guys. And I also did recommend, like, not being able to exit a room until you kill every enemy, because as it stands right now, as far as I'm aware, all you have to do is take out the enemy spawn points, you know, those green tower looking things. All you have to do is take out those, and then you can just walk through the next door, and you can just leave the rest of the enemies there, and, you know, you can just keep going. Whereas in a lot of roguelikes, you have to kill every enemy that's in the room. And I know that might be a little bit difficult if there's, like, these ball things, you know, spawning around. It could take a long time to kill every enemy. But, you know, maybe adding less enemies to each room would be beneficial. Maybe, like, on some of the lower levels, maybe add more. But sometimes less is more, in my opinion. So maybe just, like, cutting back on some of these random ball things that are flying around. Or maybe just have those, like, be projectiles from enemies instead of... Well, I guess they are projectiles. I haven't seen these types before. These specific enemy types where they just kind of shoot things. I'm going to try to find the door. And I also recommended adding a mini-map. I know the developer's been working on this. At one point, he put it in the game, but it, like, lowered the frame rate by, like, 40 FPS. So he, like, took it off because he's going to have to, like, redesign things and really have to take... It's going to take some time, but eventually I think he will be putting a minimap in it. He just wants to focus on some more important elements at the moment. But eventually there's going to be a minimap, I think. So, looking forward to that, because I'm constantly getting lost in this game. I'm always having to backtrack, and then I just get lost. Let's see. I'm almost dead, actually. I'm like messing around here. I think I'm supposed to go up top. I can't remember if I came through the bottom or if I came through the top. Another thing I said that I wasn't a big fan of is sometimes you come across doors and they're just kind of blocked like this and you can't go through. So you have like these long hallways and it just leads to a door that's blocked. And I understand, like with procedurally / randomly generated elements, sometimes it just puts these scenarios together so you don't have as much control maybe. But I feel like having doors in the game, each door should lead to something. So for example, if there was a door here and you want to make a dead end, then just have a door here, you go through it, and then you come to a room that has no doors, and then that room would be the dead end, instead of just coming across a door that is just blocked, you know? And then maybe in that room, you know, you'd have more enemies, but then you would know you have to backtrack, and it would just add a little bit more meat to the game because every door would lead somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you're like going through these things and you walk down this corridor and you're just like, okay, well, there's a door. That was a waste of time. You know what I mean? At least every door would lead somewhere, and you'd feel like you're kind of going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Just an idea. Just throwing it out there. Let me see if I can figure out how to get up here. I think I gotta come this way, and then maybe I have to go this way, and then go up here, and maybe go up here. There's an enemy right here. Okay, alright. Are there still enemies spawning? Did I like not knock out all the spawners? I like this too. I like these kind of torches here. I like that. Pretty dope. And I like when the enemies die, like sometimes their skull will just, you know, there'll be a skull laying there, like their rib cage will kind of fall next to it. I like that. So the death animations and that adds a lot to it as well, but just adding that little flinch effect could really sell it, I think. And again, we come across another big area with really nothing on the walls, and then a door that we can't go through. So let's see. I think maybe I'm supposed to go through that door over there, or maybe there's a door over here. And I do like the rock effect. I'm way more of a fan of this effect here than this just kind of this bland kind of. I guess you would say it's just, well, not rock. It's more of like stone, more like bricks. There's a lot of this in the game, and I do know that the developers like adding more tile sets and whatnot, so that's kind of a work in progress. So this could probably be changed in the future. I'm sure he has plans for that. But yeah, I definitely like these. Like you can tell there's a little bit more love and care put into this stuff, because this looks really cool. These different textures, and this really breaks it up. Also adding, you know, maybe a little bit more color to the levels and whatnot. Like for example, if like this was maybe a brighter color or something, it would stand out a little bit, you know, just highlight the different areas. Whereas right now it kind of looks like there's maybe 3 different colors. Speaking of colors, I kind of recommended that when you pick up different weapons, actually let's backtrack. I said that because, like, for example, when you're shooting, you can kind of just keep shooting. I just died. You can just kind of keep shooting and you won't run out of ammo. You do have a secondary fire that will run out, but that recharges over time. But what I would love to see is just like every weapon having limited ammo. Because right now I could just hold down this button and nothing will happen. But if I shoot this, that will run out eventually. That's indicated by the blue bar underneath the red bar on top. So that will run out eventually. It does recharge over time. But I would love to see, you know, just be able to just run out of ammo. And then you have to swap weapons and then use that gun until it's out of ammo, or until you come across more ammo, and then have some of the enemies, you know, drop ammo packs, so you'd have to pick those up. I would love to see that, because then you would have to kind of pick your shots, and you wouldn't just be praying and spraying all the time. You'd have to kind of dodge more, bob and weave, and, you know, have to pick each shot, instead of just praying and spraying, holding down the fire button all the time. So that's something I would like to see more of. Also, sometimes you come across these perk things, these little like floating orbs. You pick those up, and then it like gives you like more damage, or sometimes it has a negative effect. It's like, you know, more damage, but you have less health, so on and so forth. I would love to see when you get more damage, maybe like your gun changing a little bit. So like if you got like, let's say we get some more damage, your gun would like change to a red color. And then if you get more damage after that, it would change to like a blue color. And every time you upgrade your damage, there would be some visual indication of it actually changing things. You know what I mean? Also, speaking of colors, this video has a lot of color references. Speaking of colors, I would love to see different colored enemies. So like maybe have normal enemy types just be this color, you know, just kind of a green grayish color. And then like the next level up would be blue. And those would be a little bit harder to kill, more hit points, they do more damage. And then like the next level up be like red color, and those would do even more damage to you, and they would take even longer to kill. So that would just add variation. You could keep like the same character models, just kind of like change their skin tone a little bit. So that way when you're fighting them, you'll be like, oh, this guy's a red one, it's going to take a little bit more. Maybe I should take out the, you know, weaker ones first and then focus on the red ones. And I think that would be fun. Your God Smack, how you doing, man? Hey, I'm just popping in to say hello. Have you played Dreams already? I haven't played Dreams, man, because I do not have a PS4 and it is not on PC. So can't really play Dreams. Maybe one day I'll get a PS4, but probably not anytime soon. Unless it's like super cheap, because I know the PS5 is coming out eventually. When a PS5 comes out, that's probably when I'll get a PS4. But yeah, I have not played Dreams yet. Just take out these. Also, these weapon spawners, these could be different colors too. So maybe like, you know, the green ones are just spawning normal enemies, and then after a while maybe they'll change color, or they'll just be like different ones that are maybe red ones and then blue ones, and the blue ones would, you know, spawn the blue enemies, so on and so forth. And they would just you know, maybe take a little bit longer to take out, because these green ones, they're like super easy to take out, especially with this gun. Like this gun might need to be nerfed a little bit, because it's just so easy to like take them out with those guns. Maybe it's just because I have a couple weapon buffs, I don't know. And again, I don't really remember if those weapon buffs are in effect, like if I have more damage, because like when you pick up those perks, it will like tell you, but then after a while I forget. But if your gun changed, or like something on your HUD changed, preferably the weapon, then you'd be like, okay, I got a red gun now, so I know I'm doing more damage. Or I got a blue gun now, so I know I'm doing, you know, less damage. You know what I'm saying? Just have like different tiers, and you could just, you know, change just the way the gun looks a little bit, just a different color tone. Maybe you don't have to really change the way the gun looks like mechanically. I mean, that would be cool too, but just adding a slightly different color palette to the weapon could add a lot. Ready for the update on No Man's Sky, or are you playing it at this moment? I haven't really been playing too much of it. I did do a couple live streams on No Man's Sky a while back, but I'm still getting used to the big next update that dropped a while back. So, you know, I'm fine with that for now. I know when the new update comes, there's going to be more stuff I'm going to have to learn to do. But yeah, still a fan of No Man's Sky, just haven't been playing it lately. Let me take out these. And again, haven't came across any flying enemy types yet. I've seen gameplay of other people coming across some like flying mage type creatures. I don't know if he took those out of the game to kind of work on them and they'll be back in the game, but I haven't came across anything. Because like, look, you'll have these big levels, big ceilings, very tall, and then you have just these small enemies on the bottom, and it's like all of this space up here is wasted, right? It's because all of this happens on the ground. And then you have these cool run mechanics, but you don't really use these run mechanics very much unless you're like in a really tall level where you have to like get from the bottom to the top. So I would love to see some flying enemies. I'm sure that's planned. That's probably why there's these big levels. I'm sure he did it for a reason. But then maybe like, you know, gun turrets on the wall that like just shoot you, and you'd have to kind of take those out. So you'd have parts of the dungeon trying to kill you as well as the enemies killing you. And like these guys are great. Like, right? They shoot stuff at you. Oh, I'm already dead. But then having smaller guys that kind of just run at you, or maybe big guys that run at you. And I have come across some of those here and there, but just having more enemy variation, I think would add a lot. Okay, so this is an early access title, so it's not finished yet. It's currently $10. I think it's on sale for $8 right now. That sale may have ended. But yeah, it's like a first-person shooter roguelike game. So you basically have one life. After you die, it's game over. It's kind of randomly slash procedurally generated. So every time you play, it's a little bit different. You can also change the art style when you start each game. You have different like art styles here, which is kind of cool. We're gonna go with this art style here. I would like to see some of the rooms, and I did say this earlier in the episode, I would like to see some of the rooms be a little bit darker, and then like have a flashlight button that you can kind of just, you know, point your flashlight and like everything over there is dark, but then when you put your cursor over it, it lights up. You know, I think that would add a lot to the game. Definitely add some variation, because sometimes you'll have a well-lit area, and then other times you'll have like a dark area where there's just some torches on the wall, and as you get closer to the torches, you can see a little bit more, but then you also have your flashlight, or maybe like put a torch in the opposite hand, and that could be kind of a cool effect. But have different levels, and just with different lighting effects, and that could add a lot. Because you got these cool enemies, and some of them would be really cool in the dark because they'd glow, and you'd see their eyes glowing. Because you can change the palettes, like you can change the filter when you first start, but that changes like every room in the dungeon. I would like to see just certain rooms be darker and then other rooms be brighter. And that, you know, just changing the color, that could add a lot of variation. Holy macaroni. Okay, just take out this real quick. Okay, those guys are dead. But all in all, the enemy AI is pretty nifty. Like it tracks you well. It shoots you, it kind of backs up, it strafes. When they get close enough, they'll try to melee attack you. And the developer has said he might put some melee weapons in the game as well, because a fan recommended that, and he said that would be pretty cool. So maybe that will come in a future update. Some like swords and stuff. Something to do some melee combat with. I love it when these things happen. Like you'll see their like rib cage and their head. And this is all made by one person, so he's had to like animate each enemy. You know, and if you go to his YouTube channel, you can see him like molding and sculpting the enemy types, and he's, you know, made all the textures, everything made by one person. So sometimes it takes a while to implement things into the game, and right now he's just kind of working on optimizing and you know, polishing up what he has, and over time he's going to be adding more. And 90% of what's in the game is like all from player feedback. So that's what I'm doing in this stream, kind of just giving my feedback, giving some ideas, just snowballing. You know, just plain and snowballing. I need to adjust my chair because it's making my neck hurt. Anyway, but yeah, man, if you want to check this game out, it's $10. It's on Steam. It's called Darkest Depths. Hey, Adam, have a good stream, bro. I am on my way to play Dreams at my brother's. Nice, man. Godsmack, thanks for popping in. Always a pleasure. Okay, so we started here. Also, so you got this cool looking light thing, but it's like really small. I would like to see, because the ceilings are so tall in this game, just make everything a little bit bigger. So maybe make these things, you know, have some smaller ones, and then have maybe some bigger ones. And then like these little things, like they're pretty cool animated wise. Got some like mist coming out of it, but just make it a little bit bigger, you know? Just make everything a little bit bigger. And then you got these cool statues when you first start. And you also pick up your weapons. Like if you unlock a weapon, it'll spawn in this room, which is a nice effect. And maybe that could be like put into a different game mode where you could, you know, only play with the weapons you've unlocked. But it would be kind of cool to come across weapons as you play as well. And I have came across a couple, like you can buy different perks with your coins, and then you can get different weapons. But you know, just having these same two spawn, well, I guess over time, if you beat it or something, you will unlock different ones. So I guess that's a cool mechanic. So I take that back. But this weapon definitely needs to be nerfed a little, because I feel like it's really overpowered. I'd also like to see a little bit more variation when it comes to the weapon sound effects, because if you listen, this kind of sounds similar to this. Like it sounds very similar. So maybe just changing the pitch, something as simple as like a pitch change. So like each weapon definitely looks different. Like this looks dramatically different than this, but also having each weapon sound different. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's just I'm just nitpicking here. Okay, so let's go through here. Like this is really well designed. Like, you know, you got the different variation here. And eventually the whole game is probably going to, you know, look like this with these cool textures and whatnot. And then you'll come across some levels that have like cool looking textures. And then it's just kind of this normal rock looking, brick layout. And the dev has been working on different tile sets and stuff, so that's going to improve over time. But yeah, just throwing out ideas as I come up with them here. I like the music though. Really cool music in this game. And I love the way the doors look. Like it almost looks like a marble. That's really cool. I have run across some glitches where you'll walk through a door and then I accidentally got pushed back by an enemy and it locked behind me and then I couldn't go through. So that was a glitch I came across, because once you go into a room, you can't leave until you kill all of the spawning, the weapons, the enemy spawn towers, like the green things. You can't exit a room until you kill all those. I would preferably have it so you have to kill every enemy before you can exit a room. But again, that was a glitch where I kind of walked in, an enemy hit me, I got pushed out, and then I couldn't open the door because the enemy spawns that I had to take out were on the opposite side. So that's just a glitch I came across. And again, these torches look really cool, but they're just really tiny. And then you got these big ceilings. So I just love to see like maybe more torches or different torches, or just make them a little bit bigger, like maybe like 4 times as big. Just over exaggerate everything in this game. Okay, so let's take out these. Come on, buddy. And I really like the way these enemies look. Like, they don't have arms. They're just kind of like blobs on the top, but I love the way these guys look. I like the way these guys look too, but definitely more enemy variation. And just adding like different color tones to the enemies could add a lot. Because like you come across a lot of these guys in the game, but just having them be different colors. Like maybe 2 of these guys would be blue ones, 2 of these guys would be red ones, and just that would add a lot of variation just visually. And plus each color would have different hit points, and they take longer to kill and they do more damage. So you'd kind of have to use your strategy to like maybe take out the weaker ones first, and then focus on the blue ones or the red ones because they do more damage. You know what I'm saying? But I like the kill sounds too. That's pretty cool. But again, just variation when it comes to like roguelikes where everything's kind of randomly generated. Variation is very important, because if you don't have enough variation, you come across rooms that look very similar. A lot of elements look similar. And again, this is a one-guy team, so I know it takes time to do all this because he has to like handcraft everything that's in the game, and he's just one person. Whereas other people, they might have like 5 people working on the game, or like AAA titles, they have like 200 people, 300 people, and this is just one person, and he's like working 8 hours a day on this game. And updates are pretty frequent. Like every other day, it seems like he's putting a patch out that's fixing certain bugs, and he's adding more stuff. So he's definitely hard at work, and I can really appreciate that. So this episode isn't like me trying to like be like, oh, this game sucks, it needs this, and this. No, I'm a fan of like everything that's in the game currently. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas because I see the potential, and I know this game can be like really, really, really good. And it's fun as it stands. Like right now, it's really fun. The gameplay is good, the gunplay feels good, but there's just those the subtle details and those things you can add, like the enemies flinching and like the different color variations with the enemies and just stuff like that can just really add a lot. And just like simple stuff like this, like I would love to see like a big chandelier, just like upsize this like 5 times, you know what I'm saying? And maybe add more of them, have more things hanging from the ceiling, more things hanging from the doors. Like every door have torches, like these giant torches on the side or something like that. These look kind of cool too. Really cool looking. But the more variation you have, the more like elements the game can draw from, the more unique each room is going to look. And I know the developer probably knows this, and it just takes time to make all these individual things. These look really cool too. And I like that you can just come over here, you can buy these if you have enough coins. And then these things give you the upgrades. I would like to kind of see, well, I guess I would and I wouldn't, because picking them up, it will tell you what it gives you. So it gives you more health points, but you do less damage. But then it kind of disappears, right? Maybe having something where you can just kind of look at your stats, like you hit the tab button, and it would like say you have this much damage. These are how many enemies you've killed. Just having kind of a splash screen that will pop up and tell you like what your current perks are. That could come in handy because like I already forgot what I just picked up. You know what I'm saying? So maybe having something like that could come in handy, or even having these ones be different colored as well. Or some of them have like a question mark so you won't know what you're getting. And then other ones, like some maybe having a shop or something where you can kind of choose between 3 different perks. And one of them is like negative, but 2 of them are positive. And you just won't know until you pick them. And then other ones maybe actually telling you what you're getting. So like maybe having a store and you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to buy depending on how many coins you have. And you'd actually know what you're buying. Where some of them do need to be randomized, and just not knowing what you're getting needs to happen as well. But just having those options, I think, would add a lot. Okay, so let me take out this real quick. I have like 1 hit point and I'm dead, so this might end very quickly. Yep, I'm dead again. Let's try this again, shall we? So it's building the level, putting it together. I like these things. I really like these things. I like that some of them glow too. And again, having some rooms be darker than others could really add a lot, because then you have these cool chandeliers and that would kind of add illumination. And then you have these things and that would really show like the lens flare that's happening down here and the shadows. You know what I'm saying? Benjamin, how you doing, man? I'm going to change it to a little bit darker. Let me come over here and change the... I'm going to go with... yeah, we'll go with that. So see, that looks pretty cool. And like you see the floor, you see the reflection. That just looks so cool. But then having just a flashlight mechanic where you can turn on flashlight, that would be pretty dope. I'm not going to lie. Because then you can just kind of pop that on. Or just having a torch, you know, having a torch appear in your left hand and you kind of, you know, use that as you walk through. Because like, look, there's a lot of cool lighting effects in this game. I mean, look at this. Looks pretty sweet. So some rooms, I mean, like make this room dark, but then like the next room have it maybe be a little bit more, you know, a little lighter, and then have another room be like super dark, and then you'd have to like bring out your flashlight, and just adding that would just add a lot of different ways and different mechanics that you'd have to use in the game. Also, add more pots. I want to be able to break more pots, even if they're just empty pots. It's like you got a little bit here. Oh, I'm gonna pick up this. That gives me some hit point regeneration. Take out this real quick. And I'm gonna leave a couple enemies here because I want to just kind of look at them. Get some health here. But see, like the enemy AI is pretty good. Like they'll kind of track you, come after you. When they get close enough, they hit you, which is nice. They're kind of like bob and weave and kind of strafe. They do get stuck on things sometimes, so it's not perfect, but it's definitely better AI than I've seen in some games. And every enemy seems like it does throw stuff at you. They all kind of seem like they're the same projectile, so I'm sure that's maybe going to be looked at, and maybe, you know, have different enemies shoot different things. But I would love to have like certain enemies just not shoot anything at all and just charge you. Like a group of smaller enemies just come running at you and just explode on impact, or just try to do melee damage to you, and then have other enemies just throw stuff at you. And then other enemies like this where they'll throw stuff, but then if they get close enough, they'll actually try to hit you as well. So just variation. That's my big thing, variation. Also, more things like this, like more just random stuff that you can hide behind in the level, you know, and kind of have to strafe behind and shoot. Because a lot of the levels right now, they're just like very open, very tall looking. And then it's like, you know, you have these big vaulted ceilings, but then all of the combat happens just like, you know, 3 feet off the ground, you know? So adding those flying enemy types, if they're not already in the game, I haven't came across them yet, but I have seen some gameplay where there is flying enemies. Maybe he took that out to like maybe bug fix them. I don't know, but I'm sure it's planned in a future update to add some enemy types, because I don't see any other reason why you would make some of the levels so big and some of the rooms so big if you weren't going to have enemy types that, you know, were off the ground. It just doesn't make sense to me. We leveled up, and again, I don't know what leveling up does. Like, it says we're a level 1 Slayer, but I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if there's a plan to add more perks or things when you level up, or if that's simply just kind of a score mechanic where it's like you leveled up this many times, you know. Also, a scoreboard would be nice. I don't know how difficult it would be to put a scoreboard, but being able to kind of track how well you've done just with playthroughs where you're doing it solo by yourself, being able to track each run, or being, you know, having like a world leaderboard where you can see like everybody that's played the game, you know, kind of see how you stacked up with other players and then be able to like sort through your friends list. I know that's kind of complicated to do. And you know, that's just on my wish list. I would much more prefer to have, you know, the game be worked on aside from a leaderboard. Like leaderboard can be like the last thing you put in the game because there are other things that need a little bit of work. But like I said, look, there's like just this really cool lighting effects. And I think if you had some rooms be darker, it would just add a lot. Because right now, if you change the color palette, it changes everything in the game. Like every room will look similar and a little bit darker. Whereas I would like some rooms to be a little bit dark, other rooms to be a little bit more lighted. Big chandelier, just bump everything up, man. Like make this like 5 times bigger. Add more of them. Put like giant torches before every door. You know, maybe indicate what's behind the door by adding the torch. So maybe like if there's a green torch, that means like in this room there's green enemy types that are harder to kill, or like in the next room if there's a red torch and those are red enemy types, you know, just vary it up, or you know, some room will have multiple different enemy types, like red enemies and green enemies, and you don't have to like make them like super red or super blue, just like slightly tinted blue, slightly tinted red, you know, just so you can distinguish between each one. I think that could add a lot. So let me see. I don't have enough to buy that, so we're gonna go through the next room. But like, I love the lighting. Like, it's just so good. Okay, so let me see. Where is the next door? Here it is. And I love the way the doors look. Okay, let's take out this real quick. And again, these things, like, you can kill them way too fast with this gun. So this thing needs to be nerfed, or they need to bump up the hits on like those enemy spawn towers. I don't know what needs to be changed, but it needs to be a little bit changed. And also, you got these like these open spaces. I would love to see like maybe some fire put down here. And I know everything's kind of procedurally generated, so you might not have the most control over certain things. I don't know exactly how that mechanic and algorithm works in this game, but you know, just having gaps or like just pits that you can fall in, spikes, or like having, you know, arrows that will like, you could have like a row of arrows here that would like shoot across, be like, and you'd have to like time it and go through, because you have this cool sprint mechanic that you can even sprint in midair, but you don't really use it a lot. So if you had like these different like, you know, arrows coming at you and like pits in the ground, you kind of have to use platforming and have to like kind of like use this mechanic more. I think that would add a lot. So let's go through here. We already went through there. Let's go through here. And also mini bosses, or like big like grunt type enemies that are just super hard to kill. Maybe not as hard to kill as a big boss, but they definitely are larger enemies, and they take more hit points. Let me take out this real quick. So having a flashlight in this particular level would come in handy because it's a little bit darker. There's really not anything illuminating anything. There's no torches or anything. So just having a flashlight would be nice. Maybe even make it a little bit darker, but having that flashlight would really make things look cool. Also, the enemies, they have like green glowing eyes. Like some of them do. I don't know if they all do, but I saw a couple enemies that had like these guys. These have like red glowing eyes. Like that's really cool. Like just picture coming across that in the dark with your flashlight. Like that would be sweet. And I'm already dead. So it does kind of tally up your score here. After each death, it tells you how much lifetime gold you had. And then I guess lifetime gold is, I guess, like since you've been playing the game. And then difficulty is level 1. Deaths, I've died 7 times. So I guess it does give you, it does keep track of that. So this is in a way what I was talking about, I guess. But being able to kind of pull this up on the fly would be nice as well. So I think I got 19 kills this round. I picked up 13 gold. My score was 410. So there is kind of a leaderboard element. It's not fully fleshed out, but I can appreciate that there is something kind of in the works. This just needs to be a little bit polished, more polished. But yeah, let's generate another run. I really want to see if I can come across some flying type enemies. Haven't came across those yet, but I'm hoping. Let's go and change the art style again. See what else we got. Not really a big fan of this pixel art style. I know some people probably are. And I like that this feature is in there. But just not a fan of this myself, but that doesn't mean you have to take it out of the game, because I'm sure there are some people that like kind of this pixelated looking kind of 8-bit-esque filter, but I'm not a fan of this one. But let me change it here. Let's go with the darkest. I think the darkest one. Now this is like, okay, so this is the comic. Okay, this is the bold one. This is comic book, autumn. Autumn looks pretty nice. Old school, dark, and then the default one is this. I'm gonna go with the comic looking one, I think. I'm gonna go with the comic. All right. Because then you get to see the cool lighting. And just again, just bump everything up. Like, as far as size goes, have some of these things be like big, you know, have a big one of these, and then maybe a smaller one of these, and just, you know, some small ones here, but then like a big one of the ones with lights. Have a big one with some lights. You know, just the variation. I love me some variation. So let's go through here. Like this room, very dark. No torches on the wall. So having a flashlight would really come in handy. Come on. Oh, there's one down here too. Okay. Also, maybe adding like a health bar to these weapon spawns, and then you'd be able to tell how long before each one until it died, like it went away, because it would have a health bar. Also, when you walk into each room, maybe have an enemy count, like how many enemies are left. So like if there was like one enemy left and you like couldn't find him, you'd be like, okay, well there's one left. He's around here somewhere. And then after you got to 0 enemies left, then the doors would unlock, and then you'd be able to go through the next room. Also, like when the doors unlocked, when you killed every enemy, maybe like having some kind of sound play, or like the music change or something. You know, be like doosh, or like hear like a door unlock, like clank. Or, you know, something that would acknowledge that you killed all the enemies. Like if you're not going to have like an enemy count number on the screen, just have some kind of something that would let you know that you've killed every enemy. You know, like complete, or you know, level complete, or, you know, just something so you'd know. Or like maybe the lights change, or, you know what I mean? I think that would be kind of cool, because then you'd be like, okay, I accomplished that. I got the cool sound. I can go to the next room. You know what I'm saying? I think that could add something to the game. Like, just these little tweaks could really polish things up, just the way they are right now. Like, I would love to see more of this. Just more of these cool-looking rock things. It's more of these obelisks. And I don't know if this generates each time. I think this is probably like a handcrafted room, because it looks pretty similar, and that's probably why you have some cooler looking like textures and whatnot, because it's more handcrafted. But yeah, having maybe some of these pillars just in the normal rooms, just a lot more of this. Maybe these bumps, you know, just coming across cooler things like this as you're playing. It would really add with the variety when you come to different rooms. Like having a health bar up here, that would come in handy. I mean, I'm going to take it out regardless, but just being able to know that, hey, I'm this close to killing it. But I really want to see like different colored enemies. Because even then, if you have a lot of enemies that look the same, like these are all the same types of enemies. But even if you have a room that's just these, just having some of them be different color will add so much. Like, it'll add a lot. And then those different colors having you know, different hit points and different damage, doing different damage. See, and then having pillars and stuff you can hide behind, that makes strafing more important. It makes jumping and dodging more important. The enemies do that as well. But when you just have like a big open room, you can still dodge the projectiles, but it's just more fun to kind of peek out, you know, and shoot, and being able to hide behind stuff. See? I think that's kind of cool. And then again, like having a pit or something in the middle. It's like, you know, something where I have to kind of like go around, and just having like different levels, more verticality. It's like big blocks that I can kind of hide behind and jump on top of, and then kind of come down on top of the enemy and shoot them from above. Just verticality, man. I want me some verticality. And I know there are bigger levels with, like I said, big ceilings. But a lot of those big levels with the big ceilings, it's still, most of the action happens like 3 feet off the ground. You know, you're just walking, you have small enemies, and then you have these giant rooms. So just adding like things you can jump on throughout the level, like staircases and whatnot, I think that would just add a lot. Let me take out these real quick. Oh, another thing. Okay, we got some hit point regeneration. I don't think I picked up my other gun. Okay, so I'm stuck with this gun unless I go back. Like, let's just watch his animation. Like, look how cool this guy looks. It's animated very well. And he gets close enough, he'll hit you. Okay, so he did flinch a little bit. And the death animation is good, but just a little bit more flinching. And also maybe bullet damage. Like, I don't know how hard that would be to do, but like if you shoot the wall, have like a bullet hole be there, you know? And that might really, I know that the guys really trying to optimize the game, and adding bullet holes and stuff might, you know, put a hamper on that. But, you know, they could disappear over time. But yeah, just bullet holes and stuff. Some type of destructibility in the environment, aside from the pots. Because I like breaking the pots. Love that. But yeah, just adding bullet holes to the walls and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Can we pick this up? I got some more, oh, I got some jump. I can jump higher now. And look at this. You got some like mist around this. That's cool. If you can see that mist there, that's a nice touch. Also, you can kind of see the bullet grazing off. So I guess, you know, having bullet holes isn't necessary, but it would be kind of cool, you know, just to have something visible, like some kind of mark on the wall, and then it disappear after a while. You know what I'm saying? The pots break nice too. Like, I like that. A little bit of smoke and then it disappears. Or like coming across trap rooms. Like, let's say you come into a room and it has like a treasure chest, right? You could have like a treasure chest up here. There's nothing in the room. It's really well lit. You have a big chandelier, you know, really cool lighting. You come across this chest. You're like, oh, what's in the chest? Sometimes it could be something really cool, right? And then other times it's like, it's empty and it's a trap room. And then the lights kind of change. And then enemies start spawning. And then it's like all hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? Or having some unlocks, like maybe an unlock here, unlock here, unlock here. You have to pick which one you want. And then, you know, one of them might be a negative effect. The other one might be a positive effect, but you can only pick one. You know, just having rooms like that. Because I think that's very important with roguelikes. Just having that variation. Make these bigger, man. I want to see like, boom, big ones. Like, anyway, let's go. Also, bars. Like, I guess there are ones with bars on them. But, or having like some of these like be tunnels. That would be cool. Because like every room you go through, it kind of has this door, right? And you walk through and you get to the next level. But having like some of the rooms maybe have some cool tunnels that kind of wrap around and pop through other ways. So like if there was like a little tunnel here, a little archway, you could kind of go through here, and it would wind around and it would pop out like this hole here. And then you'd have enemies spawning here, but you could kind of like, you know, go through those things with your flashlight, and you'd be able to like shoot, and it would kind of bottleneck the enemies. You know, just different stuff like that. I don't know how hard, like again, I don't know how hard that would be to do. But this is just like, if I'm just like throwing out everything I would want to see. So let's go through here. Again, you got these big levels, these giant ceilings. So I really want to see some like flying type enemies. And I have seen some in like other YouTube videos, but I haven't seen any in my playthroughs. Because you got these big levels and then you got like these small enemies. Like, see? It just doesn't match up. So maybe have some gun turrets up here, some lasers, some alcoves where there's guys like throwing rocks down on you. Just something, or maybe some like lasers. Because it's like really big, and it's like, why is the level so big? I like the way the level looks. I just want there to be more stuff, like some bouncing things, or some lasers, or something. Some maybe like hands from coming down from the ceiling that will try to like grab you. You know, just stuff like that. And also, I want to be able to run out of ammunition, and then have the enemies drop ammunition, and then I, pick it up, and then I can go from there. Because I can just hold down the fire button, and nothing happens. I want to be able to have to pick my shots, so I can kind of be dodging, wall running, doing all this cool stuff, but then actually having to use skill to shoot each enemy. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like this, instead of just like bam, 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 bam. I can just wherever hold it down. But if I can run out of ammo, I'd have to kind of like, do some wall jumps, get behind them, shoot a couple times, use a couple bombs. Whereas right now I can just hold it down. So just adding those stakes of not always having unlimited ammo will make it a lot more fun. Okay, so I think I'm supposed to get on top of here maybe. Also, more of these things, like more just giant bricks. Just giant squares you can hide behind. Oh, here we go. When you have big open levels, you gotta have stuff you can jump on top of and kind of crawl over and hide behind. Oh god. There we go. Oh, that's a lot of enemies. And also, if this level was dark and then you had some of the enemies like have, green glowing eyes, or maybe like some of the enemies just having like one eye, like a Cyclops, that would be so cool. Cyclopses, that's what I want. Freaking Cyclopses. And then you kind of have, you have some fire down here. And again, this room may have been, randomly generated. But, just having a random fire thing, that's cool. But like having, like a row of these things. Or having a pit that you have to jump across and you might fall down into. And then like poison down there. Just add more stuff to the algorithm is what I'm trying to say. And there's a door that's blocked. Because you have a lot of these big open rooms, but just having like some smaller like archways where you can kind of go through and then pop out. All part of the same room, but just having different ways you can funnel the enemies and different ways you can go through. Maybe having like, an archway here so you could go through the middle of this. And maybe something inside this. Like maybe some type of secret inside here, or having like a door. I don't know, just something to kind of break up the level a little bit. Where is the other door? Where's the door I'm supposed to be going through? I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm a big fan of games like Immortal Redneck. Immortal Redneck is a really good first-person shooter roguelike. Also a game called Ziggurat. So I do play a lot of these types of games. So a lot of the things I'm recommending are like things I've come across in other games that make it really fun. So I'm not saying steal those ideas, but when it comes to a roguelike and first-person shooters, there are certain things that I think need to be kind of similar. And there's a reason that a lot of games have some of the same elements is because they're fun elements, you know. And you can kind of do it with your own spin, make it your own, you know, unique way. But I've never come across like a first-person roguelike where you have like a flashlight and like some levels are darker. Like I've never seen that happen. And I think because these are like more dungeon-type levels, that I think kind of a flashlight or a torch would really make things pop, especially because you got really cool lighting in this game. I think that would be pretty dope. Yeah, I don't know where the exit is. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. Sorry if I was rambling. I probably said a lot of the same things over and over and over again. But yeah, I'm gonna share this video with the developer, and he can kind of take a look at it. But yeah, man, these are just different ideas I've had. I'm sure you have your own plans and whatnot, and I know a lot of these ideas will take quite some time for one person to do. But yeah, these are just some of my ideas. I don't know if you've thought of them yourself. And some of them are probably stupid ideas. Like, I'll admit, like, maybe some of these aren't the greatest ideas, or other games have done similar things and they're just not fun because they've done similar things. I don't know, but I feel like if you tried some of them, you know, simply adding different enemy colors and, like, different effects when you pick up, you know, when you pick up the perks, you know, changing the way your weapon looks, you know, something to distinguish each perk, you know, just adding variation and whatnot. I think that could add a lot, you know, just enemies flinching when you hit them, adding more enemy types. And I know all this is probably planned and you're just one person and you know, it takes time. But yeah, just snowballing ideas, throwing those out there. I'm going to wrap this video up, guys. Thank you for watching. If you want to check this game out for yourself, it is $10 on Steam. I'll try to put a link in the description. If not, just go to Steam and type in Darkest Depths. It's really fun. As it stands now, it's really fun. It's an early access, so it's in development. Things are going to change. Bugs are going to get fixed. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be crashes. But it runs pretty well. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked it, like it. If you want to stay up to date, hit subscribe. And I will catch you in the next video. Until then, my name is Adam. And remember, keep calm and game on. Toodles!